about crochet. Hey folks, it's Mary, aka MercyTriumphs, and this is Slow Crochet. This is episode 088. Yes, I'm looking down to make sure that I actually did get that number right, 088. And yeah, this is my weekly check-in to talk about all the things that I've been crocheting this week. So y'all, this week life hit. So it also kind of corresponds with the projects that I'm working on being really slow ones. So I have 0 finishes this week, and I have 3 projects that I've been working on. So let's get into them real quick. This is going to be kind of a shorter one today anyway. First off, y'all, I'm going to need your opinion on this. This is my snowflake hat, and you can see I am nearly done. And as I started doing this edging, this brim, I thought, I don't know if I like this. I do not have a lot of this blue yarn left. I've been using Wool Ease Recycled. I have a video comparing Wool Ease Recycled to proper Wool Ease, and so I am using that yarn, and this is a beautiful, beautiful project that is coming out. I decided that I wanted to end off with, rather than going straight down front post double crochets, I would alternate front and back post. But I measured my yarn and I didn't have enough to do a lot of a brim, so I thought I would skip into some white again and then finish up with like that twisted single crochet, that kind of fake crab stitch. But I don't know that I like this. I mean, look at the shape here. You're kind of coming up and over, and then it almost like pooches out to do that brim. Let me pop this on my head. You can see it's still messy on the inside. Now, I do have quite the knot of hair today, so it might not fit that well, and I might get things okay. All right, so yeah, it does look like that is belling out some, which is not really the look I'm going for. Now, of course, if I don't have my hair all up like this, it'll be a little bit tighter. And even though this is kind of a DK weight yarn, it is really thick because of all those post stitches. It makes it really, really thick. Beautiful effect though, really like how it's turning out. But here's my question, what would you do for the brim? Should I do like a little bit more color work with the white and the blue? Maybe do one more row of like alternating a white and a blue every other stitch all the way around? Should I just do a blue row and then end up with a crab stitch? Should I don't know, should I do some single crochets in the back loop only to kind of tighten it through? Let me know what you think on how you like to finish your brims. Whew, the original pattern, I've modified quite a bit, not just the crown, but also I was able to get 6 of these snowflakes out. And I did have those 6 different balls of yarn. If you saw my Instagram, you saw how I was doing that. And I tried my best to kind of contain some of these floats. It looks so much better than the original that I did, where the floats are just wild and free and huge in there, right? I have the yarns that I was using. Yes, that's pretty wild and very not practical if you have even one bobby pin on your head. That would get caught so easily. So yes, I've definitely improved on that. I have a lot of ends to weave in. But y'all, this is one of the reasons I got so little accomplished this week in terms of completions was this hat. This hat I set aside Saturday to work on, and I was up and down. We had some things come up in the family, so in and out, couldn't work on it solidly, but this was what I kept coming back to on Saturday. And normally I don't get sore with my hands, but something about that solid front post double crochet, that's all these are. Something about that was just getting really repetitive. So I started to get even just a little bit sore. So I'm really glad to be in the home stretch here. I'm eager to finish this off, and I'm glad that I sat down and just kind of forced myself to get through these rows. And I knew too that if I got up, all of my balls of yarn would get out of order. I mean, I had kind of an order to them, but I wanted to try and do as much as I could without other people wanting to sit in my seat. So yes, snowflake part is done. You can see the seam there, but it's not super noticeable. And yeah, would just love you guys' opinion on how to finish out that brim, because once that's done, it's done, and then I'll start doing my submissions to the fair, and this will be one of them. So yay for that work in progress that's nearly done. The other work in progress that I have that is coming to conclusion, this is the little kind of Sophie-esque scarf that I have been working on. And I think as of last week, I hadn't decided where the point would be, where the widest part would be. I think I was about to here. And I kept saying, oh, I'll just make it a little longer. I'll just make it a little longer. So I finally decided, okay, it's wide enough, and that's about the midpoint. So it'll come around on one side, and then here we are for the rest of it. So I just need to continue this pattern until it matches, and I think it's going to be a beautiful size. I'm looking forward to this being done. It's just a 2-row repeat basically, but I love the texture that's coming of it. I think it's really interesting done in this hand-dyed yarn. And yeah, I will show more of this as it gets completed. I think this is one that I could probably complete this week. It's pretty portable since it's so small, and this is the yarn I have left. I think it's a fingering weight, maybe a sport weight, but it's a pretty small weight. I'm using a 3.75 millimeter hook on it. But yes, this one I expect will be done this week as well. Lastly, something that I haven't touched for a while, it is my Highline sweater. Part of this was because I had let one of my little cousins borrow my crochet hook, and I was able to get it back from her. She didn't need to return it. I had others in this size, but she did get it back, and I thought, okay, now that I have it, I really have no excuse. I need to keep working on this sweater. So this is one that I am making out of Yarn Bee Alpaca Twist. Thank you, Yarn Bee, for your clearance. And I am getting close to being finished with the front panel. So when last we left our adventurers, I was working on the back panel, and so now we have the front. Now I have done a bit more shaping on the neckline because I think in the original pattern it comes quite up close to the neck, which is not my preference. I like to have a little bit of space here. I get kind of sensitive around my neck. I have to be pretty intentional about what I'm wearing around it. But yeah, I have gone ahead and added a second ball of yarn here. I made sure it's the same dye lot as the other one, so that should match pretty well. But this is such a peaceful rhythm, and if I can get into it, then it's just a really soothing project to work on. It's all half double crochet, sometimes in the third loop and sometimes in the back loop, and then there's some shaping with like some single crochet and some slip stitches at the edge. I always yarn over from front to back, but in this case it really does make a difference to go from front to back. From back to front, rather. See, I'm even getting confused here in my words. No, you're supposed to yarn over from back to front rather than front to back. It does affect a few stitches, and half double crochet, if you're trying to work into the third loop, that's one that it actually does affect, but in general I don't mind, which is, y'all know this about me. Anyway, I really did like the effect, and I wanted to make sure that I could do that properly. So it takes me, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 seconds. Does that seem too long? Let me just see. Okay, let me just see. How long does it actually take for me? I'm going to watch my time right here. How long does it take for me to do one of these stitches? If I were just to go, okay, wait. Okay, 3. If I were just to do it regular, okay, yeah, it takes me a good 5 seconds to do each stitch. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. Okay, so maybe between 3 and 4 seconds. Yikes, that is kind of slow. I mean, I am slow crochet, but yeah, that's why this one is kind of slower going, but it is very rewarding. The beautiful thing is that once this one is done, once this whole panel is done, I just have maybe probably 7 more rows on this front panel. There's like a ribbing section across the top, and then I think it's just the sleeves. I'm not sure if the sleeves are crocheted onto it or if they're made separately and then you sew the whole thing together. But this is one of those sweaters that I'm really glad that I'm working on. I think it's going to turn out really beautifully. And because it is a thicker yarn, it is coming along a little bit more quickly, despite the fact that I'm moving a little bit more slowly. But this is something I definitely want to keep working on until it's done. This is probably my biggest project right now. And once that's done, of course, there's other things I want to work on. There's yarn that I have caked up. There's yarn over here. There's little bits and pieces that I'm itching to get to. But again, this has been such a big week for our family, such wonderful but unexpected things. And so it hasn't given me a lot of freedom to just sit and crochet or to catch those moments. But the moments that I have had have been a joy. as I hope this video has been to you. Y'all, thank you so much for spending some time with me. Thanks for letting me ramble about what I'm excited most about, the things that bring me joy. Not just that life doesn't bring me joy. There's plenty of joy to be had, plenty of deep, wonderful things. But to share something with y'all that no one else in my immediate family does. It's such a joy to be able to talk about yarn with y'all and to share my world of crochet with you. So thank you so much for spending your time with me. Thank you to all of my subscribers. A bunch of y'all have come over really recently. I do appreciate you. And thank you to everyone who's been with me for a good long while. Y'all consistent ones, y'all encouraging ones. You are phenomenal. I really do appreciate you. And if I'm not your cup of tea, thank you for listening this long. I do appreciate you, and I do hope I'll see you again soon. Bye.